Alrighty then, day 3 of the Sky Marshal Cup. General hand grenade at the Eagle's Nest at an undisclosed location on the outskirts of Prince George, British Columbia. And we should be finished today. I can't see why we're not. And the Pennsylvania boys are flying out in the morning anyway, so something's going to give. Anyway, so we just finished playing our first turn of the day. And the biggest thing that happened, I guess, would probably be that if you remember in the end of the last video, there was a shit ton of stuff on Normandy for the Allies. And now, at the end of, they couldn't take it back this turn. Germany took it and they couldn't take it back. And you can see the task force marker up there. That's the German task force marker. But they just didn't have the horses. They couldn't keep up with the Germans, mostly because of the convoy rating. The British couldn't put any more. Plus the logistics of trying to get stuff over from the United States, like having that steady stream. You kind of have to have a transport chuck, not just transports that went there. And you've got to have them constantly dropping units off every turn, and it just so happened this turn they couldn't manage it. So we'll see if the Germans can hang on from there on. The Italians just finished researching the amphibious doctrine text, so we'll see what they're going to do with that. They did buy a couple of attack transport. So we'll see if that makes a difference and what they're going to do with that. I think I know, but I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not telling you guys. Shut up. Anyway, the French, they're still being French. They're talking backwards. I spoke French. What else? I think we'll take a look at Eastern Front from down here. I just got to try not to squish everybody. Okay, so you can see what's going on. Not much happened on the Eastern Front this turn. Just a bit of... actually, you did fight a big battle on the Eastern Front?
Yeah, I took Oral Curse with 0 casualties.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, and the Friendly Fire didn't like that too much. And then he only took minor places on his turn, on the Russian turn. So advantage Germany there as well. It was a pretty good turn for the Germans. That's for sure. And convoy rating, what did you get convoy rating this past turn? 19. And Russia did a bit of convoy rating too, but of course they don't have as many subs or as much they can take off. So over here in Asia, the Japanese took this territory. You can see they're surrounded here in Calcutta. We'll see if the British can get through there. There was quite a big battle here. The Japanese put a ton of stuff here in Vietnam, and the KMT was able to get them back. But as you can see, they're starting to thin out a bit in here. So we'll see how the battle of attrition goes there between Japan and the KMT. A lot of it's going to depend on when the game ends with the variable ending. We've got the turn that we're playing now. I mean, the game could end after this turn that we're about to play here. We'll see. Of course, the Axis would like that, because the longer it goes on, the more the Allied money with the Americans in the war is going to swing in favor of them. And, so that's what we're hoping for. So we'll take a look here. Here's where the American Navy is here. And both of those things are with the American Navy. The land units and the naval units. And then here, this is the task force marker. So that's these guys over here. That's who had done the amphibious assault down here. That they've lost the units now. And there's a lot fewer naval units there. And they're in the Sea of Japan there. So they've still got some naval. I think the Americans got a little bit more. They did just get their improved construction. So again, they're going to start pulling ahead with the money. I'm hoping the game ends after this turn, but that might be a little bit much. And over here, what do we got here? So the CCP is they've got 2 Manchurian territories now. and it looks like they might be able to get that by the end of the game. We'll see. The Japanese have 3 Russian territories, but now the Russians are here. Like, Japan can't do everything. Like, they can't fight all of Asia at once, so they're going to have to pick and choose what they're going to do. And I can't wait to find out what that Japanese guy is going to do. I know he's the smartest guy in the room, but
Sure.
yeah. Die. Get the hammer, get the nail. So here's a little bit closer look at the task force marker that is in Moscow. There we go. And there's the task force marker here, and that is in Oral Kursk. So that's what it's looking like here. Anyway, stick around. We're gonna try to put lipstick on this pig. See what happens later. We'll be back. All right then, we're on turn 18.
Up one, down one. Please.
Whatever time of year that is.
Russia and Germany.
And we had our first variable ending die roll and just missed it by 2. So the game is carrying on. Right now the German player is going, and looks like he just worked the Russian player. How are you feeling? Is your bum okay?
Jeez. No, it's not. Well, we'll see after this one. He might make me regret this attack. Yeah, I think this is next. I'll start set up.
Okay, well, those guys carry on. We'll just take a look down here. So there's only just a little bit. What's down here? Not much left for the British down here. The French, not much change. One big change here is that the German player decided to take his subs after the American Navy, and he only killed 1 transport and 1 sub, and the rest of them got shot to hell, and then the American on their turn took him out. So that huge advantage that he had, taking all that money off the British, is pretty much gone. He's got a few subs left, but he's not going to be getting 20 off the British player anymore. This is what is on the American task force marker, which is over there, and the British task force marker here, and they're there by Spain as well. So let's just take a look at Europe here. Okay, so not too much threatening him right now. He was able to keep them off him for a while. This is what's in Paris over here on that task force marker. So Europe is pretty good right now for them. We, of course, as the Axis, we were hoping that the variable ending would have ended already, because we would have had, I think, 10 points with all the capitals that we have. We have 2 of the Commonwealth capitals, and we have Paris plus our own capitals. The Italians are doing well, so they've got a couple points.
Ready. All right.
I think the Japanese have a point right now.
So 6-2.
But like, that's going to turn around probably for the rest of the game as long as it goes. With the Americans and their income, they should be able to gain more points for themselves and maybe take off some for us. The Russian player, he's going to get a few points, but I don't think that he's going to have a chance to win this game at this point, because he just, it's not that he's played a bad game or anything. There was one turn there where the battles went heavily towards the German. It was just after he placed his big, huge buy on, and so that kind of took away any initiative that he might have had.
1, 2, 3, 4 hits.
So we'll try not to get in these guys' way. Let's take a look over here. So you can see here, the Japanese have moved further in. That before they only had Calcutta.
4 at 8.
So they took this and blitzed into here, and then the British with all these things tried to take that, and they didn't get anything off them. So they regrouped back here.
5 at 8.
And so Calcutta looks pretty secure for now, because there's no British ships anywhere. That task force marker I showed you up by Spain, that is the only British ships, and I don't think he's going to be able to get over here. unless the Americans were to take Calcutta. But the
Yeah,
Americans
that was
have got so many targets over there, right? So I'm not sure that they would want to go after them anyway. The Japanese do have this Asia for Asians point right now. That might be the only point they have aside from the capitals that they have. But the American Navy at this point is much bigger than the Japanese Navy. But they're holding on pretty good. But you know, as like I said, the longer the game goes on, the more difficult it's going to be for them, because once their navy's gone, they're not going to have a choice or a chance to get stuff back to the mainland. The CCP has all of Manchuria now. Let's just move over here. Let's just move up here. So, yeah, so the CCP has all of Manchuria now. The KMT is doing well. They still have their capital. The Russians, looks like they'll be able to take back the Far East. And as you can see here, what's happened is the Germans just took Transcaucasia.
He was about average. Yeah.
They just took Transcaucasia. So now you get Turkey, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it's aligned.
Yeah, Turkey is aligned now, and they can actually move them after their combat phase is over. So non-combat, they should be able to move them. It's not going to help them out as far as points or anything right now, but like it does give them a few more units to go against the Russians or to defend. Like they could rail them if they wanted to up to Paris to try to keep those navies from doing anything to them. We'll see. Anyway, so let's just go over here and take a look at the American Navy here. So they've got these ones right here, and the task force marker is here, and there are the ships that are on that task force marker. Actually, he's got two of them. Where's the other one?
It says land units.
Oh, one's just land units. So all of those are right here. So quite a navy that he's got going. Thinking he might have to walk home.
All the way to Pennsylvania.
All the way to Pennsylvania. It's a long walk to the airport tomorrow.
The transports were kind of sitting right.
Is there anything else, guys? Did I forget anything?
The two of them.
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, I think we got.
Okay, they're just right on.
Okay, we'll be back later. All right, so another round is gone by, and the last thing that just happened here was big battle, furious battle for Madrid. Mostly aerial battle, where he brought in airborne, and he had all kinds of shots. Anyway, Madrid held. He could have kept going, but then he would have been losing his air force and hoping that he could have got through. But as you see in Madrid, there's just enough left that maybe that's not worth it,
Take that point from him.
especially attacking a mountain city like that. So anyway, so Madrid held, which is big because we're going to have another variable die roll after the American player finishes putting his units on the board. And what else happened? Oh, there was a big battle in Russia, and the Russians spanked the Germans. Tell us about it, Joel. What happened there?
Ow.
Oh, where was it?
Donetsk Kuban. Took a beating, but I sent the units in there kind of figuring I was going to be able to lose, and it kind of forced him to bring most of his stuff down there, so it was a delay tactic really. But yeah, I got lucky with some target selects, so I was able to take some of his valuable units, but I stood no chance against the militia and something like 22 infantry. I didn't have a hope in hell.
Yeah, so that was the big things that happened this turn. As far as anything groundbreaking, the KMT had a sneaky little attack. They tried to take out
South Vietnam.
This one, South Vietnam, but they didn't quite get it. Thanks to the skeleton crew, or the ghost militia, I guess you'd call them. Anyway, we are going to do the variable ending die roll. and there's 3 capitals that are in enemy hands. So we -3, and we got to hit a 2. So if a 5 or less, we'll end this game right now. Dun 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 dun. Oh no, we go again.
All right.
This is the point where I turn off the
Onward
camera.
march.
We swear at Tim for a while, and then we come back and we're friends again. And
Hey, if you roll 3 6s in a row, though.
anyway, nice try, Tim.
Thanks.
Bastard. I mean, okay. So
Nice man.
Japan has decided that they have enough. They're not going to go for any more points because the American Navy that's lurking there, there's about 850 ships in that spot right there. So they're just going to hunker down and try to keep the points that they have. And the KMT, I don't think that there's any more points that they can get. So for them, it's a matter of holding and trying to take away this one Asia for Asian point that that Japan has. That's about the best thing they can do, I think. These guys, the FEC, like the Calcutta point is in the hands of the Japs right now, and I don't think that they can get there to take it away from them. That's why I pulled back. Like I could have kept going and attacked these guys, but I mean, you get diced, and all of a sudden you don't have any Japanese units there. You're a long ways from Japan and from replenishing them. So I just thought, you know what? If I back up, then I probably will never lose Calcutta, unless I went like 10 more rounds. But it's not going to go that long, right? So that's there. The Italians, I don't know if I showed you this. Maybe the Italians had taken Greece. I probably did show you that. So yeah, that along with the other things, Cyprus and Malta, something else, that gave them a point too. The Italians are doing really good as far as getting their points go. So good for them. And the Americans right now are in possession of all 4 of the points that they can get. France doesn't have a hope of scoring any points, I don't believe, because Paris seems quite secure right now. You can see that the Allies aren't even around them anymore. I think that they have given up on the notion that they're going to be able to get in there and take them out. So the Germans really defended well in there, and it was close. For, you know, like it could have went one way or the other, and then the Germans just said, nope, my house, and they booted them out. So there's the British Navy, and where's the German Navy? The American Navy is up there, and show you the American Navy over here. The technology charts. A lot more technology than there was last time I showed you the charts, but I mean it's been a lot more turns, right? So and there's the axis.
Yeah, it's Japan.
The income. And that's what this looks like right now. I'll hold here for a second. I can't remember what these black dots are. We ran out of roundels to put on there.
They're victory points by the U.S.
Are they? Oh, okay.
Japan.
Okay. Anyway, so that's where we are, and thanks to Tim, we are going another round. Bastard. I am going to kill you. Okay, we'll be back. All right, so we've come to the end of another round, or just about. The American player is just putting his stuff on. So this task force marker, let's just put this right here. So he busted through our screen here and attacked the Navy, but the Navy held. You can see all the battleships are damaged, but incredibly it held. So that was pretty cool. He did manage to put a bunch of 6 units in here, I believe. But we didn't think we were going to get Nanking anyway, so we stopped going for it. And are you ready?
I guess.
All right. Okay, hang on. We're going to
6
do
or
the
less.
variable ending roll. 6.
You want me to be low?
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Game over.
Well done. Well done.
Good stuff, guys.
Game over.
Well done.
Good game. Do we know the winner?
Good game.
You got it.
Excellent.
Good game, partner.
Good game, man. Where's Graham at?
Okay, so that's the game, folks.
He wasn't here for the game,
He asked if he needed to be here for that, and we said no. So he had a choice.
Well, no.
Anyway, I don't think you need to move your stuff around now. So
No, I already did.
Should we
But
take
Or put-
pictures?
yeah, you can take pictures all you want.
Would it
But
be okay
what
to
you
do
need
that?
to do, what we're going to do now, is I'm going to go around and keep this film going. But let's just confirm everything on here as far as core, okay? And then after we've confirmed it, then we'll get Dan to come in and take a look at it, and he can confirm it because their table has to be assured that.
yes.
And then, yeah, okay. Anyway, so you seen that? Where is it? It ended on turn 19, at the end of turn 19. And I can't believe it, but after 19 turns, the Japanese still have a navy, and the American has a bigger navy. So that's pretty incredible that much naval can be still alive in the Pacific. But that was, like a lot of that was hemming them in with the screens here. Like we'd have their navy surrounded it. So it took them longer to get across the water. That worked out pretty good. You can see the Russians and the CCP. The Russians gained all their territory back. The CCP did all right. We're going to find out what the final score is. Nothing changed here in the last turn. What did the Italians do? I know you're doing something over here.
The Italians kept throwing as much as they could into Madrid.
Oh, okay.
I built a rail as Germany to start funneling for a turn here, and then shucking back and forth, bringing units to Gibraltar, and then zipping them right up.
So we almost got you one time, and then you had a...
Madrid was really
Basically,
close.
we
The
were just
Allies-
trying to protect the points that we had
Yeah,
everywhere.
the Allies made a push right here, and it was really close. It was a nail biter. I had I think 4 units left, but America had to make a real tough decision in evac because I got some plane hits.
Okay, rather than me going around and talking about what happened everywhere, I'd like everybody to talk about their own stuff. So why don't you take this and tell us all about. Just clip it onto your pocket there. Tell us all about Germany's game. If you guys wouldn't mind, a couple of words. You don't have to talk long if you don't want. Say, yeah, I came here. I'm never coming back because of this.
Well, this is what looks like end game. Germany, I was sweating their early game because I was nervous about taking Paris. I kind of made a mistake. Thought I could blitz into the city when I couldn't. I thought maybe it might be a real big game blunder. But I got real lucky, and France didn't do very well on their defense and was able to surround the city, and it was sort of all downhill from there. The Allies just kept getting really, really bad dice. It was not a skill issue. They just couldn't roll hits to save their life for probably the first 4 or 5 rounds of the game, and the momentum shift was just really detrimental. Some mistakes were made. Russians kind of let Germany do whatever they wanted. Germany was able to grab a city and hang on. Also, this was late game, but made a mistake of thinking that Transcaucasia was safe. I was able to drop a paratrooper there, and Turkey, upon seeing that, joins the war, and that really just kind of sealed the deal with securing the Med, because then I was able to bring the Romanians and new Turkish units in and make sure that the Mediterranean was totally off limits except for the Free French infantry in Africa. But that's pretty much the tale of the take. I'll pass it off.
Oh no, it's these guys. Just take the Chinese one.
Well, it's a very simple tale. The Far East.
What's your count?
10. And we're ahead.
Initially,
I think we're ahead by 4 or 5 points.
So, Joel,
Yeah.
you know,
had
if for
stationed
some reason
themselves
we get a
to
tie and we're at 10-2, then obviously
Hang
we're
on,
going to have
Bob.
to figure out how to break that.
but they
Use the
decided
microphone.
to come down into Sydney.
Oops, sorry. I'm out of room.
That's okay. Here, just clip this to you.
They decided to come down into Sydney, and they took it very quickly, including the South Islands and New Zealand. So that took that country out. And then the Far East Command was just a slog by the Japanese. Far East Command fought valiantly, and you can see in a lot of ways the Japanese stopped pushing or they probably could have overrun most of India, but they might have done that also at the expense of requirements elsewhere, and it really wasn't necessary for their victory point, so they stopped. They'd achieved their objectives. And then as far as, well, you can see activity, the Italians very powerful down in Africa. Not much to explain there. Again, very powerful slog by them. Really, true challenge was what we saw with Great Britain defending themselves fairly well. Even had to push the Germans out of northern England. But a couple landings in Normandy, got shoved back out. And there's not much else to say. Quite honestly, the big inhibitor for Great Britain was all the convoy raiding done by the Germans. And not having the tech necessary to counter that early enough. And so if you're playing, if you can be convoy raided, you need radar and anti-submarine warfare to truly work in your advantage. Over to the U.S. and KMT.
Hello guys, France here first. So France fell, as normal. They got ran over by the Germans. The Germans, we thought, made a mistake and we thought we could capitalize, but it didn't quite pan out. They just overpowered us and ran. And then the Vichy roll killed us in ships. We were one ship to like 7. And then the whole build queue went Vichy. So we just spent our time building up northern Algeria here. Trying to hope that we get back in the game at some point. We actually got all the way up to Spanish Morocco so we could start funneling people over to Gibraltar. And when that happened, Italy said, nope, I'm taking Gibraltar from you. Or Germany took Gibraltar from us. So Free France tried to help out as much as they could, but not much going on there. KMT became a major power when we finally convinced the Russians to attack because Japan didn't want to attack the warlords. And so Russia attacked, and the KMT got all the money that were possible split up, and they became a major power, placed their factory. You can't even see it because it's completely covered with stuff. And went back and forth with the Japanese the entire game. Asia for Asians taken away, gave them back, going back. And at the end, they had enough to keep us from getting there. And actually, you can see Japan got into Kwangchung and us at the end. But we just started tunneling back, trying to keep our victory and see whatever we could do to help them out. The USA fleet on the last turn decided to try to get the Japan fleet, like General Hand Grenade said, and did what we could do. We were just trying to make sure that they couldn't come back and take any of the islands from us to get our victory points. I mean, we have 4 heavy battleships, 4 heavy cruisers on the board, so we took care of that pretty good. If the game lasted much longer, we may have had landing, we may not have, I mean, he has a lot of ships surrounded us, so he probably would have came back and done some damage to us, but overall, yeah, the USA, the group as a whole, on the USA at the end finally got some tech going to help us out, but tech was really slow on both sides, thankfully or unthankfully, however you want to look at it. So, and the U.S., the major mistake I made was I tried to go both ways, and we had everybody in Normandy, and that got killed, which stuck this entire fleet here in the Atlantic instead of going over to the Pacific to help take care of the Japanese. So that was the U.S. and General Hand Grenade.
I guess I'll go. Friendly Fire is busy right now.
Yep.
We'll get him afterwards. So, Japan. Japan, it didn't go exactly as I had planned it. So what I had planned in originally was to bring my fleet down to the Carolines, which I did, and then I was going to, make them think that I was going to go to Sydney, and then take the American fleet. But Sydney was wide open, and it was too early to go after the American fleet. Like, it was just way too early. And so I went after Sydney, and thought it was a mistake at first because Tim rolled really well for the 5 dice that you get for attack in the Commonwealth. And like I thought that was a mistake. But then he rolled 2 1s back to back to increase his income, and so that saved us. I think if that wouldn't have happened, like if he would have rolled 2 10s instead, I think this game ends a lot differently, right? Because then he's in the war a lot sooner. But anyway, so after I got Sydney, then the next thing we set our sights on, like we had some choices to go to China. Like I was trying to outweight the Chinese until they started fighting each other, and they really never did. Like there was one fight between them or 2, like very small fights, and that was it. So they never took that bait. So I just never went in there in any great strength. But the one that we did choose was go after Calcutta, and that proved pretty good. Like it could look a lot better for the Japanese, but we thought, you know what, this isn't worth any points over here. Let's just keep the point. There's 1 point available there, and that's the capital. So the Japanese ended up with 4 points. They had their own capital, they had Sydney, they had Calcutta, and then the other one was Asia for Asians. So they needed these 5 territories down here, and they had them. Originally we were, like I had a bunch of, I had Manchuria, and I just would have needed a couple of these islands for the resource one. But rather than try to get too greedy, thought it would be better to be strong on the point that I had. Like I had to pick one of them, and so I picked that one over the one with the Manchurians. And so I just let Manchuria go. I let the CCP take that, and that proved to be a good idea. The one drawback of doing it this way is that you had less money. Like I've got a good income now. Last 4 or 5 or 6 turns, I've collected over 50. But before that, my income was low for the Japanese at the time of game that we were at. And but that's the way you do it. Like if you want to do it this way, the way I did it. And I wanted to try something different. Like just every game, it seems you go into China, you got to get there by this turn or that turn. Or really, I never did get in there. I never really tried. I've got 1 Chinese territory right now. I just took it this turn. Thought that would work out. And then he did have a chance to come back here and hit me to take out the 1 point that I did have, but I stopped him there. Like he lost a couple of airborne coming in, and then like he hadn't taken anything off me yet, so he wasn't going to be able to. And so he just retreated in there because we didn't know that the game was going to end or not. But really though, like you look at, there's a task force marker there and one up there. I was actually going to attack the American fleet with everything I had if the game gone past this round, but of course it didn't. These were my casualties from before. So all the battleships were damaged because I knew that like he got Big Blue Fleet, and there was no way I was going to get close to him on the capital ships. So anyway, I'm going to pass it over to Friendly Fire, and he's going to tell us all about his fabulous plan and how it almost worked for the Soviets. Here, let me just bring this over here. You got to take this.
All right, well,
Just clip that onto you.
common turn. We're going to start with Republican Spain. And you can see it went fascist very quickly. He had the typical northern attack into Basque country. Took it with 1 guy. I took Western Andalusia. And then we were kind of backed into our corners here. And I came out of Madrid because it looked like I was going to lose the battle there with his Lend-Lease that was coming in. And he came at me, and I made a poor attack, counterattacking into Western Andalusia. Lost both my aircraft to air supremacy.
Yeah, that was a big moment there when you went for that attack, and he hit both of his fighters.
Yeah, and I didn't hit either one of my planes, and so that was the start of that. I gave up Spain after that, and CCP on the other side were trying so long to influence their neighbors. First, the territory closest to the coast, Peping and
The purple
Hope,
guys.
and they couldn't do it. And then I got nervous and tried to go after Singhai. I finally got it later on the same turn. The Russians took Xinjiang and then gave it up, moved back here to the, eastern Kazakhstan, so the CCP could have it. And then they started with good relations with the KMT, although the KMT had Tibet go to them, and I had this, and this one militia couldn't move because I'm not yet a major power. They became a major power instantly. And they asked me to move, and I said I couldn't. So they just tried to attack through, and there was one mountain, one cav got slaughtered in the attempt.
I got a good laugh over it.
I took Szechuan from them, and they left it vacant. Just gave me an extra recruitment, which I started making pretty steadily, especially after I moved into Manchukuo and had that wrapped up, and was moving on the KMT before the end of the game. But we were already in variable roles, and I knew I was a few turns from, or at least a couple turns from getting to be a major power, so couldn't count on that. I left the Far East pretty bare, as you can see, and the Japanese made a token attempt at stealing some money from me and just forcing at least one tank to come join these two militia and take them on.
I think if you would have piled a bunch of units over there, though, you probably would have got overran on the eastern front.
That's
like if you split yourself up.
That's right. As it was, this is where the majority of the battle happened, and Feckenrecht had a huge task force where mine is now in Norel, Kursk, and he kept taking out repeatedly my counterattacks, and he moved his force south and then blitzed back, so I couldn't get into them. Really keeping me at arm's length because I had mostly infantry class units. When I had advanced mech, first techs I went for were actually my VP ones, and I got them early on, which is nice because if you get strategic rockets and jet fighters, you get a free rocket and jet fighter. So that was a bonus. Bombed the Western German factory. The jet fighter got slaughtered in my early battle with his invading force. They had 11 at 8, maybe 4 or 5 King Tigers, and the rest heavy tanks. And I then were 2 spaces from Stalingrad or Moscow, and so I had mostly infantry class base. I was trying to flush it out with medium tanks because I couldn't get T-34s. I got T-34s eventually with improved factories. And I lost in that battle 4 aircraft, a jet fighter, 2 fighters, and a tactical, which largely did nothing. I was so set on protecting Transcaucasia till I wasn't. I was watching his air transport, and it was way off in Western Europe, and then I forgot to keep watching it and moved all my guys out. He moved back to Romania and had a paratrooper built before I could react, and surely he aligned Turkey by the end, which didn't really matter as far as points went. Early on, I went after Finland and got my Helsinki point.
Yeah, you did a good job in Finland there.
Another round, and I probably could have got another point for this city. I was going to liberate Transcaucasia, but that wasn't worth anything point-wise. I had some subs out here. He took out he took out 2 of my subs, and the coastal sub, which finally made it around from the Black Sea was convoying and sometimes doing nothing, but once or twice I maxed the line. So there's the 1.2 for my victory cities, and then
And two more.
and then one for
Technological
yeah,
superiority.
but I didn't.
And winter war.
I didn't liberate this city before the game ended, and I was only gonna get as much as 5. I pretty much concentrated my forces in the west against the Germans because that's where your points lie, right? There's a 2 point if you get Warsaw, Bessarabia, and then there's another point if you can take Istanbul and have a
Port.
major. I think it's a naval, not a base, but
Access to the Mediterranean,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. Anyway, so that was the culmination of my game, and I had fun. Came in third, but it was a great time. And I'm going to pass you back to the general.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up on Table Fletcher here. The battle is still going up on Table Nagumo, and of course with the variable rolls we have no idea when that's going to end. So just give you the score. So the Axis ran out to the big lead, and then like we hung on as hard as we could. So we ended up getting 10 points. We had 6 victory cities, and the Italians did really well. They had 2 points, and then the Germans and the Japanese each had a victory point. So 10 points in total. And then the Allies had 7 points. So the Americans had 1 victory city and 4 victory points. They got as many as they could. And Nanking, the KMT, got that point. The Americans would have got the Nanking point. But it was the KMT got the point for becoming a major power, and the British still had London, so that was a point for them. And then the Russians, they got 4 points, and he just went over those with you. He had the 2 victory points, and he had his 2 victory cities. So that worked out. Now, as far as final thoughts from me, I just want to say that I had a great time. The venue is, like you thought that his war room before was nice. I tell you, it's really, really nice here. And some of the things that, like you might be looking at all the bells and whistles and everything. But I tell you, the biggest difference for me was 2 things. One, we're playing on carpet instead of cement floor in a garage. And the other is we had air conditioning. And I tell you, that's big time because it's been in the mid 30s, and for you Americans, that is about 100 degrees. Anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees, it's been here. Like you go outside, we've been eating outside, it's really hot out there. So the air conditioning and the carpet is great, and have the 2 tables in 2 separate rooms, but the rooms adjacent to each other. That was nice too, because before when we were all in one room, it was really loud, and it was like I don't know, a bit more cross contamination between the boards and stuff. It was really nice to have our own room, and like we had this desk over here with all this stuff on it. So we had laptops going, and like nice comfy chairs and everything. So this was a really, really nice venue to play in. And the best thing though was all the people that came here. We had the Pennsylvania boys, Bob and Tim, come, and we had Madman Dan, and he came from Victoria, and Friendly Fire came up from Vancouver, I guess. And then we had the Seattle boys come up. There's 3 of them. And like this is their 2nd year here, and they're great guys to play with. So we really appreciate it, Panzer King and I, that these quality of players come up, and I tell you, a lot of quality. Like everybody that was here, everybody was really, really good player. One of the things that hampered the Allies was a really bad day of rolling on Saturday that they had. Well, actually 2 bad days of rolling really on Friday and Saturday. Otherwise, the score probably would have been flipped. Like we got them 10-7. It could have just as easily been the other way. But Bob, for the longest time, couldn't hit a roll to save his life. And I mentioned earlier about Tim with his rolling 2 1s in a row. You know, that was a big difference in the game. But yeah, we had a great time. Hey, come here. Before you go, though, I'm just going to get Panzer King to say a couple of words. Or sorry, Sky Marshal now.
It's okay.
So, what do you got to say about this table? You can talk about your table later, but what do you got to say about it?
All right.
You don't have to go over detailed or anything.
Yep.
Just-
No. First of all, the 5 players that were on this table were outstanding gentlemen. They were quick and efficient, so I'm very proud of them. So it's going to be fun to pick the Order of the Sky Marshal for them, which is usually the player that I think is kind of the best overall. You know, with demeanor, humor, charisma, you know, strategy, all those good things. And of course, you know, if they're just a very good sportsman-like person, which is also very important to me. So, but all in all, this was not a surprise for me. I kind of figured that the Axis were going to pull off a win here before they started, just involving the people and whatnot. But I think there was some bad defensive roles with some of the allies, I think, in this game. And unfortunate, of course, that's just you're at the mercy of the luck of the dice. But the Axis victory is actually quite impressive. When you start looking at it, the only thing is obviously China became a bit of a monster at the end, but with Australia or Sydney taken, that led to, of course, that victory point, and then Calcutta being taken, that one, and Madrid. And currently, right now, the game that we're playing, we're trying to get that Spanish victory point. And we don't know when our game's going to end and if we'll even be able to keep it. But if we are, then that's great, because they have 10 victory points here, the Axis, and if we can tie them, that would be amazing, because we currently have 9. So, but I'm actually pretty proud of Graham for holding as well as he did in Russia. It looks like he actually had quite a bit of strength towards the end. Only lost 1 city, and that was Kiev.
Your game ended.
No, Spanish Civil War ended.
Oh, Spanish Civil War. There we go. Did we win?
I think so.
Oh, good. Sweet. So that means we're tied at 10-10 if the game goes on. Well, we'll see. So, but and that's an interesting thing how we break those ties, and I think we've kind of all agreed it might be the difference between.
Jello wrestling in the backyard with kiddie pool.
Oh, I'm leaving before that happens.
The difference between second and third place and the distance between their victory points compared to the actual winner too. So, but like I say, we'll see. Our game hasn't ended yet, and things can change real fast. So, but all good. That's probably about it. But thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Sky Marshal, not Panzer King. Anyway, I'm going to cut it off now. There will probably, I don't think this is the last of the video though, because we've still got the awards coming up. Maybe if this game ends next to us here on the other table, then it won't be the end of the thing. But regardless, I'm going home tonight, and I will put this video out, even if I have to come back tomorrow while they finish the game and we do the awards. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. So thanks for joining us this year. And I tell you, if you ever get a chance, you will not be disappointed if you ever make it up here. So I'm going to let you go. So General Hand Grenade and friends, out.
Okay, everybody, thanks again for attending the 4th annual 2024 Sky Marshal Cup. It is so awesome to have some of you guys back. And new ones, and hopefully anybody new is going to come back the next year or in future. Definitely, I started this whole concept of a tournament because I always wanted one. I thought it would be so much fun to get a bunch of people from around your community or your province, or in this case, around the continent, and having Americans and Canadians come together to honor, probably is the best way to say, this game or the history of World War II that we have come to be so enthusiastically involved in. And yeah, it's a pretty emotional experience that you guys have come here to my tournament, and someday hopefully I'll be able to repay that and go to yours. But in the meantime, we might as well do some ceremonies here to conclude the 4th annual 2024 Sky Marshal Cup. And what we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with our champions this year, which is Madman Dan and yours truly, but really mostly just Madman Dan on this one. And winning the gold medal, I'm going to present that to Dan and myself.
Thank you.
Dan, you should put the medal on him.
Yeah,
There we go. Can we get it over your hat?
we'll do that. Nice and simple. Perfect.
Good job, guys.
Okay, so
Shower.
we've already picked our prizes, so we're going to move on to our second place winners, which are the winners of Table Fletcher, and that is General Hand Grenade and Commander Wrecked.
Thank
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
Job on the win.
And for third place, I'm very happy to present this to Tim and the Mountaineer for attending this, not only the furthest away, but achieving the rank of winning the 3rd position and winning the bronze medal. And you guys had one hell of a roll, but you guys did well. So come on up here and all right, sir. Thank you. Bob?
Oh.
Yep, thanks. And Tim. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks for having us.
Hey,
You bet.
in Seattle?
Okay,
You gotta meet halfway between Seattle and Pennsylvania.
so I have put together the plaques of the 1st and 2nd and 3rd place, and we're going to put them on the trophy once we're done. The other 4 places I'm going to hand out to the people that came in at 4th, 5th, and 6th. And do we know who that was? That was...
Oh, I think we were tied at this table.
Yeah,
Roll
Nathan, roll off.
How many victory points did you
Roll off.
4, okay.
See, Nathan and I are tied at 5.
Yeah. So in a situation like that, how are we going to break that up?
Jello wrestling.
Yeah, Jello wrestling.
Commandant typically have it harder, so give him the
Yeah.
4th place.
Well, in some ways, I think that's probably the most fairest way of going about in 4th pick. But are you fine with that, Nathan? I think you've definitely played one hell of a game. So,
All right, Nathan.
congratulations, sir. And I'll give you this as a souvenir, your name plaque, and then just pick your prize up here, whichever one you want out of the
We
options
already
here.
picked our prizes.
These 3. Oh, they're neutrals?
Yeah, neutral set, and this one's all in 3 or bigger sets, but.
Go.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. And then Kaiser Sariana.
Hey, Kaiser.
Hey,
Thank
you.
Congratulations.
Yep. I think we'll take the neutral set.
Can I borrow that?
And last but definitely not least, Friendly Fire. Come on up here. There you go, sir.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You betcha.
It was a pleasure.
Now we're going to go on to our peer-driven awards, and it's all by vote, by you guys who think who these people that you play with, if they're most strategic, most honorable, most diplomatic. The biggest one, or the most important one, I always find is the most strategic, and I think that's the most important out of the 3. And again, it's going to be won by Joel this year, Commander Rec.
Thank you.
Because I think you won it last year, didn't you? You won it last year, didn't you?
Yeah,
Did you? Yeah.
I did.
So it's your second Iron Cross. Most honorable. You guys all listen to me. I appreciate it.
Those bribes worked.
And I did get the most votes. So you know what? I'm very happy about this.
You also counted the votes.
They're over there. You can count them. And most diplomatic. This one has always had a fondness in my heart because I was able to win it the first year. And it's going to go to somebody who I think deserves it out of everybody here. And that is Friendly Fire. Graham?
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
The guy named Friendly Fire got most honorable.
Most shout out by his own people.
Yeah.
So now this also is one I'm very happy to present, the Order of the Sky Marshal. It is a trophy that goes to, or a plaque, that goes to who I think is the best all-around general. And it doesn't mean you're a champion or if you won the game. How was your demeanor? How was your humor? How was your focus? How was everything? And it's a double whammy. Table Fletcher and Table Dagumo are both going to go to the common term players this year for Graham and Captain Napalm's. Running Russia is hard, and you guys put up an extremely good fight, and I respect that. So I want to give these two to you guys. Congratulations, sir. All right, and I think for the most part that is everything. We've got the medals, the rings we'll hand out. Oh, actually what we should do is, we'll just squeak over here, guys. So, usually by winning your table, you get promoted with your general stars. And this year, we have Brian, who gets his first set for winning the table. So I'll give you that, Brian.
Thank you.
And Joel, you won your table again, and now you are promoted to Admiral. So congratulations.
Appreciate it.
And on my table, I get promoted too. I get to win too. But I'm going to give something special, and I didn't really plan very hard for this year. But since Madman Dan has literally won 4 years in a row on his table, that is special. So I'm going to give him his 4th General Stars.
Well earned.
Very much well earned. Congratulations. All right. Once again, thank you everybody for coming. I really do appreciate this, and I'd love to see you all next year. And if there's a date that works, let me know, right? Maybe we can, doesn't have to be always this date in particular if it really jives with somebody, but that's why I like to give people a year's notice ahead of time. So if there's any issues, or let me know, maybe we can. But for now, I can't wait to see you guys again. And I'm glad we ended when we did tonight. That is just awesome. So once again, guys, thank you for everything, and I'll see you next year.
Thank you, Sky Marshal.
Thank
bet.
you. Thank you.
See you guys.
Looking forward to next year.
Yes, ditto.